Hey, it's Caressa.
Hey, it's Maddie.
You're not watching the Disney Channel right now.
You're listening to
Dreadfully Twisted. Hello, we are back.
Back again.
Yes.
We are back. Tell your friends.
And your family.
Yes, and your family. And your acquaintances.
Just tell everybody.
Yeah.
Just tell everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone you know. Dreadfully
Exactly.
Twisted's back this week.
We love you. So, yeah.
Yes. I forgot to tell you. We were talking about like a lot of stuff before we started here. But I did have something happen on my camera last week. It was last Sunday.
Mhm.
Like I think it was Saturday night into Sunday, I think it was. Or whenever after we recorded. I don't remember what it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I actually had stuff happen again.
That's
and I'm like,
normally when it happens, too. It's just...
yeah, I'm like, okay, you waited this long just to finally like
Like, hey, we're still here, by the way, just so you know.
yeah, I guess. I don't know. I'm just like, well, show me more. But yeah, so that happened. And then I'm going to see Jared Padalecki next weekend. And I'm so excited. And then I just realized like 5 minutes ago that I'm wearing supernatural shoes, supernatural leggings, a supernatural shirt. I did my phone case is supernatural. And then now my purse is supernatural. So
In your pop socket.
in my pop socket. So yeah, I'm going a little crazy. So we'll see how much my obsession keeps going.
He's gonna be like, no, that's a real fan.
Well, I don't know. I think I might dress up as Castiel.
Are you?
But I'm afraid because it's going to be really hot.
Oh, yeah.
And Castiel's costume is...
the coat is gonna be...
Well, it's not just the coat.
Yeah.
He wears a long sleeve, like white button-up shirt. He wears like a black jacket underneath that.
Mhm.
And then the trench coat.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
With like pants. And I'm like, I'm going to die if I wear this. So I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
I might just wear just the white shirt and the trench coat. That way if I could take off the trench coat, it won't be so hot. Maybe just do it for pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm like excited and I'm just like, I don't know. I'm wired right now. I feel like the later it is, the more like energy I get for
The
some
slap
reason.
happiness is kicking in.
Happens every time. So how was your week?
It was good.
That's good.
Not too much to update.
Yeah.
I'm excited for you to meet him.
I'm gonna
and see the car.
I'm like so nervous because I'm probably gonna walk up to him because like I've never met, like I remember like I met like Breathe Carolina and Attila, the two bands at Warped Tour, and I got autographs, but I was like 12, so I really don't remember it. So after that, like I've never met like an actual celebrity that was actually like, because I liked Breathe Carolina, but I wasn't really like a fan of Attila at the time.
Yeah.
So I just kind of got their autograph because I was with Kira,
Uh-huh.
and she got their autograph, so I kind of only did that because she did. I don't remember how I acted. But, like I'm nervous because this is the first time I'm gonna be meeting like a celebrity.
Yeah.
So, and I love like Supernatural, and
Yeah.
like Jared Padalecki is like one of my top favorite actors. Like I'm scared that I'm gonna like cry. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. I might cry. I might just be giddy and giggly, or I might be completely stupid. So we'll see.
For all of the above, we'll see.
I might just die. I don't know.
I feel like you might cry. Happy tears, obviously.
Or it might just be I'll go into shock and be like, this isn't happening, and I'll just be like quiet and not like responding to anything.
Hi.
I'll just be like like have like a frozen face, and then afterwards I'll be like, did that just really happen? I feel like that's how I'm gonna react. I don't know. So we'll see if I even get any sleep this week because I'm gonna be too excited.
Oh yeah, so what happened? Was it like orbs?
Yeah,
Was
it was orbs, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I forgot to ask.
I think I might have the video on my phone. I'll show you real quick. It was this one. It wasn't like too many. It was like some like over here, and they're kind of light, so you can't really see them that much.
Oh, there
right
goes
there.
one, yeah.
Another one right there. So yeah, I caught orbs, but I didn't check last night. Maybe I should check last night's.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I stopped checking because I'm like, they're not showing me anything. So then I got like sad because I'm like, I want them to be there. Like I'm weird. I want to see stuff in my house, and everybody calls me weird for it. But I just find it interesting, and so we'll see here. But I don't think there's any other updates that I can think of. Can you?
I think so.
Oh, there was some stuff. The light's still on. Oh, no, that's just Snickers. Oh, you just see my cats fighting on the stairs. Oh, yeah, it was just my cats fighting. Of course. Okay, so you ready to get into this?
Yes.
So you remember that I said at my last episode that I did that I was going to do the person that was inspired by Dexter with the case? Yeah. So that's what I'm doing.
Woo!
And I didn't think it was as detailed as I thought it would be. So it might be a 2-parter, depending on how long it is, but we'll figure that out after. Because if it is long enough, maybe I'll just split it up like after and edit it into 2 different ones. And then I might add clips in it just to make it longer if it's not long enough for 2 parts, because I think it's gonna be too long for 1 episode.
Yeah.
Definitely. So I might I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. We'll see. Because I went hard on this last night because I didn't have my research done, because this week I've just been so busy with everything. Get all my research done. So last night I was working on it from 5 o'clock until close to 10 o'clock. So maybe 5-6 hours I was working on this. So it ended up being longer than I expected. Yeah. So I'm sorry. So we'll get started because this is a long one. And you could see that I added stuff at the end. So the last episode I covered was about the killer that was inspired by the show, or oh my god, yeah, it was inspired by the show Dexter. No, this is this episode. Wow, okay. So the last episode I covered was about the serial killer that inspired Dexter. That's what I was meant to say, which was Pedro Rodriguez, right? Philo? I can't even remember his name at this point. Yeah, I think his name is Pedro.
Pedro.
I just don't remember his last name. Well, this one's going to be the complete opposite of that, because this killer was inspired by Dexter to the point where he was so obsessed with the show. And I'll say that later of how bad his obsession was. Yeah. But it was so bad. And then I know we talked about it last week, but I just wanted to ask the listeners, have you guys heard about the new Dexter series that are coming out, the Original Sin and the Resurrection? If you have, let us know and let us know what you think about it, because I'm interested in that. I'm excited for those. And in this, it says I'm on season 6. I'm on the last episode of season 6 as of right now. So I'm going to be in season 7 soon. So it's bad. Whenever I get into a show, I can't stop watching it. I literally had to stop watching it earlier. I'm like, okay, we can't watch this anymore because we're going to get through this too fast. Okay, so let's get into it, because this guy is awful. So Mark Twitchell was born in Edmonton. I was going to say California. That's Canada. What's wrong with me? He was born in Edmonton, Canada on July 4th, 1979. From a young age, Mark had dreams of making blockbuster films in Hollywood. He graduated from the Radio and Television Arts program at Northern Alberta Institute of Technology in 2000. He also was a cosplayer. He dressed up as Wolverine, the Predator, and Star Wars characters, the main ones of that. And he also went to conventions and took pictures with people at the conventions, which that's fine. That's not anything out of the ordinary. And it's weird. His whole life, as I'll go over this, wasn't really out of the ordinary. He didn't show any signs of being crazy or anything. But I don't know. So also in 2007, Mark directed a Star Wars movie called Star Wars Secrets of the Rebellion, which was a full-length fan film prequel that was a few days before the Star Wars Episode 5, A New Hope, was supposed to take place. He actually had a cameo of the original actor who played Boba Fett, Jeremy Bulloch, in The Secrets of the Rebellion. However, the film was never released and was still in post-production due to what happens in this case. He also married his second wife and had his first kid in 2007, 2008-ish. He also scripted Day Players, which is a buddy comedy. Then in September of 2008, he shot a short horror film called House of Cards. So that's going to be brought up a lot because that is the main piece of evidence in this case, which you'll see later. But that movie was in a garage he rented in South Edmonton. That's where it was shot at. And in an interview in 2006, March. Wow, I'm mixing his name together. Sorry, it's late. And my brain is mush. Okay. In an interview in 2006, Mark Twitchell stated, "We tell the story of how Han Solo set the Kessel Run record. Oh, this is about the Star Wars movie that he made. Sorry. But he said, we tell the story of how Han Solo set the Kessel Run record and how he names his ship, as well as revealing why he had to ditch its cargo. The alternate story shows what happened to the last Jedi left in the galaxy, apart from does that say Ben and Yoda? I think that does. Ben and Yoda, how the Death Star plans were stolen, what the Empire had to go through in order to track them down. I love Star Wars, so like this made sense to me, but it also sounds like Solo and Rogue One's movies. But this was like way before then. But I don't know. I like Star Wars, so I was like, interested in that little piece, but I don't like this guy. House of Cards, the House of Cards movie that Mark was filming in that garage, was Mark's first attempt at trying to imitate his favorite show, Dexter, that premiered 2 years before he started shooting. Why? Like, if you ever get so inspired by a show that you're gonna act out what happens in the show, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
Like, don't do that. Just, like, I'm obsessed with Supernatural, but, like, I'm not gonna, like, do what they do in Supernatural. I don't know. It's just a show. So, and you can find the whole script for House of Cards online, which is found on Drew Scripts, scriptorama.com, and it has so many scripts for almost any movie. So, like, I also want to go through there and, like, look at it. Some of the original and some are, like, the overview of the alternate versions of the scripts. But I'm going to go over the script a little bit right now so you can, like, understand, like, why this is, like, surrounded this whole entire case. But you can find it as well on there. And you can find it also in, like, articles. If you just search, like, Mark Twitchell, it'll pop up pictures of the script because the police took that for evidence later. But the script is about the killer who lures a married name. Oh my god, I can't read.
Talking is hard.
It's not, I can't read. I wrote this wrong.
Reading is hard.
Okay, so let's restart that. But the script is about a killer who lures a married oh my god. Bear with me. Let's restart that again. It's about a killer who lures a married man named Roger and attacks him and knocks him out. Then Roger is woken up in a garage. He is gagged and taped to a chair. The killer wears a black apron and gloves with a hockey mask with gold like stripes on it. The next pages are lines from the killer, which sounds like Saw or another horror movie. Like, it's so like cliche that it just makes you want to laugh. But he brought Roger there to punish him for infidelity, and he stole money from him, like his credit cards, and threatens him and his family. Then he takes his passwords to the dating site that he lured him there from, and deletes the trail, and he left to steal his money, but returned to kill the guy. The murderer, but okay, that does not say the murderer. Caressa, get it together. Seriously. Okay. The murder weapon is a samurai sword, and he sent emails to people in Roger's life, and they stated he ran off to start a new life. Then the killer kills Roger by decapitation, then dismembers him with power tools, and then bags up the pieces. Then it ends showing the killer was actually the writer, and he was typing up this whole story at the end of the movie. So to me, that like movie, in quotes, because it never actually he filmed it, but it never like actually happened. It seems to me like he got inspiration from other like horror movies, like definitely, and then he also took stuff from Dexter, like the black apron, the gloves, the dismembering, the power tools. But like Dexter only kills murderers, and this guy in this movie killed like somebody just for cheating on somebody.
Yeah.
I don't know. And there are other parts were probably taken by other horror movies, like I said, but it gets even worse from here. We're going to talk about another person. So John Brian Altinger, who was 38 years old at this time, was an equipment manufacturer, person at Argus Machine, who was from White Rock, British Columbia. He lived in Edmonton in a small apartment. He worked night shifts in quality control. He felt neutral about his job. He lived in different cities than his mom, Frida, and his brother Gary, but that didn't stop him from still being close with them. His friend group was close-knit, and some of them were from elementary school. So this helps later because his friend group is like the best friend group that somebody could possibly ever have. And it makes me sad that they, like, what happens, but his friend group is great.
Yeah.
But they describe Johnny as good-natured, light-hearted, generous, thoughtful, quiet, and affectionate. Johnny had a positive outlook and he helped others be more positive. He had hobbies, a couple were motorcycles and computers. He owned 2 bikes, one was a Honda 500cc and another one was a Yamaha 1200cc, which was a sport touring motorcycle. Johnny would go on rides on his bikes. He would paintball. He had an interest in new age spiritual I can't speak. I can't say that word. Spirituality. That was hard. I can't say a lot of words and it's weird. And he enjoyed music, specifically Elton John. When Johnny was 12, he begged his mom to buy a Commodore 64, which was an 8-bit home computer, and that led him always updating his computer with new parts and working on keeping it in great condition. Johnny also would always help his friends and family with their computers because he was like the tech savvy person, so he would always help them with like their technology. His brother Gary said countless times he would sacrifice his own responsibility to rescue me by word processing text papers, essays, and other important assignments while I was attending university. I owe much of my academic success to John. And I'm gonna keep calling him Johnny because that's what people refer to him as. So that's how I'm gonna refer to John as, just because that's what people preferred to call him, and I think that's what he preferred to be called. So that's just what I'm going to be calling him. Johnny made so many online friends, and they ended up becoming friends in real life too. By Johnny's 30s, he stated, oh my gosh, I am struggling. I'm a struggle bus. By Johnny's 30s, he started online dating. He joined Plenty of Fish and Lava Life, which at the time were free sites for online dating. Johnny did go on many dates, and a lot of them were successful, but he was looking for that person for him, and he was so optimistic about it, and he just hasn't found that person yet. So he kept looking. Johnny connected with a 35-year-old woman named Jen on Plenty of Fish. Jen's profile picture was of her in a bikini, and Johnny knew that pictures could be faked, but he also matched on the profiles. So they made a date on October 10th, 2008. Jen didn't... Okay, this is crazy. Jen didn't give a street address for Johnny to like go to pick her up for the date, but instead she gave him directions like directions like, oh, turn on this street, blah blah blah, like real life like directions to this place. Okay. It's weird. And it was about a 10-minute drive from Johnny's apartment. Jen told Johnny to park in the driveway and told him to go into the garage and close the garage door behind him. She also told him to ignore the blanket on the garage floor because a friend was using their garage that previous weekend, and she said this so she could see him before letting him into the house. But my question is, she could meet him at the door too.
Yeah.
Like, you can meet him there. Why let him get inside your house before you actually like meet him? Like, it's so weird. I find it sketchy. I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
Weird.
That was the directions Jen told Johnny when planning their date. She messaged him the following, this in quotes: "Maybe this is paranoid on my part, but I have to look after myself. My first instincts about people are never wrong, and I know to trust them. I want to play very much, but I have to be cautious, as I'm sure you can understand. If you're okay with this, let me know. If not, we'll have to miss each other. On a lighter note, though, if we really get on, you said you had 4 days off. How long could I keep you for if I choose? Maybe you should pack for a few days. LOL, Jen." End quote. It's weird.
Yeah.
That's very weird. But, however, before Johnny left for his date with Jen, he told his friend Dale Smith about it and about the messages that she sent. Dale found Jen's messages odd and suspicious, and his friend Dale even joked that Johnny should call him when he gets there to let him know he was safe. So even his friend was having like doubts about this.
Yeah.
And it's good that Johnny did say this, because a lot of guys at this time did not like let other people know when they're going on dates. It was more common for women to do that and take precaution, but it's good that Johnny did. When Johnny got to the location of, okay, this is even weirder. Like, at this point, like, just turn around. Just don't go home. Just go home and don't come back out. When Johnny got to the location of where the date was going to be, he ran into a friendly man who said he was using the garage for a movie. And then he shown Johnny the set and told him about the movie he was making. It was about a serial killer, and then Johnny held a fake gun, which was a prop. The man told him that Jen was running late and she got stuck in traffic and wasn't sure what time she would be there. So Johnny decided to leave, and he called his friend Dale to talk about it. After they hung up, Dale got an email from Johnny saying that he said she's home now, so I'm going over again. Dale was interested in now Johnny's date because, like, they're friends and obviously just wanted to know about it. So he left voicemails and texted Johnny multiple times. Johnny didn't answer any of them, but at this time, Dale wasn't too worried because he hoped that it went better than expected and Johnny didn't have time to reply. However, when Sunday came around and Johnny still was not replying to Dale, he started to get really worried. Johnny didn't even show up for a scheduled motorcycle lesson, which was so strange for him because he was so reliable. It was out of character for him. Like, he would never not like skip anything without telling anybody. He would always tell somebody. So on Monday morning, it gets even weirder. Dale got an email from Johnny saying that, quotes, I've met an extraordinary woman named Jen who has offered to take me on a nice long tropical vacation. We'll be staying in her winter home in Costa Rica. Phone number to follow soon. I won't be in town until December 10th, but I will be checking my email periodically. Yeah.
Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. What the heck's going on?
And this email was completely out of character for Johnny. It did not sound like him to his friend Dale. He would never do this. Just like I said, he's very reliable. He would never take time off work without notice. Dale was also super shocked by this email, and his concern grew because Johnny also didn't like warm places. The one time he went to Hawaii, and when he came back, he complained about he wouldn't go to somewhere that was hot. And also, he would have called him instead of emailing to let him know that he was actually going somewhere. And because Dale would hold on to Johnny's motorcycles to make sure that they were safe while he was gone, and Johnny didn't do that either. And also, how the email was written is not how Johnny would have written it. He didn't sign his emails with his name like that, but he would finish it off with a joke instead. Your face is like, oh my god.
Oh!
So, since Dale's suspicions were growing, he decided to respond to the email asking a question. He asked who would pick up Johnny's brother from the airport when he came to visit. However, Johnny's brother Gary wasn't actually coming to visit but Johnny would know that, and Dale never received a reply to this question, which Johnny would have answered. Yeah. Other friends of Johnny's also received the email, and they all replied to it asking for Johnny to get in touch with them. But again, no response from him. Another friend was very suspicious of the email, and they also thought it wasn't Johnny because Johnny usually called her Sunshine, and the email was missing that, and also was missing a joke or a smiley face that he would end it with. So even they were like seeing that it wasn't Johnny writing this email. The same day, this gets even more like weirder. The same day, Johnny's Facebook page had an event posted, quotes, John is taking off to the Caribbean for a few months. See you all when I get back, end quotes.
Huh? What? That's not giving any red flags at all.
Right? Then, it just gets worse. I don't mean to laugh. I'm just laughing because it's uncomfortably, like, weird.
It is. It's crazy.
The relationship status on his Facebook also changed to in a relationship. Even Johnny's boss got an email from Johnny, which said, Greetings. Well, I've certainly enjoyed my time at Argus. I have another offer that is too good to pass up, so this is my notice that I will no longer be continuing employment with your fine organization. I thank you for the opportunity. I'm sorry, I just laughed you start laughing. Who talks like that? I'm sorry, who talks like that?
Your fine establishment.
Anyway, I more in quotes. I thank you for the opportunity to rest assured I will not be leaving unless this new path I've chosen was truly life-altering. Thank you, John Altinger. There is nothing else sent or anything else from Johnny over the next several days after this, but his boss did reply, quotes, John, there are many rumors floating around about what you have run off to do, and all I need to know is where to forward your last check. Good luck in your endeavors wherever they may be, end quotes. The message was ignored and the last paycheck went uncollected. His last paycheck was $1,500. If it was really somebody who was actually leaving, they would want that $1,500 that they work for, but it was never collected. It gets even, oh my god, this case just like, I wasn't expecting all of this, and it just gets weirder and weirder and more strange and more sinister as it goes on. His MSN Messenger status changed as well to, "I've got a one-way ticket to heaven and I'm never coming back," end quote.
Oh.
Yeah.
A little concerning.
Yeah. And then his Facebook page was also updated as well and said, "Johnny's wondering why anyone would leave sun and surf to come home to snow and stress." So the wife of one of his friends, and I don't think it was Dale's wife, but I'm not sure on this, but regardless, one of the wives of one of his friends, Carrie Lynn Souza, reached out to Johnny over Facebook. She never met him in person, but everyone's worry was growing. So she messaged, "Hi, John. Please respond as soon as you get this, or at least call Dale. Everyone is concerned for you. Thanks, Carrie Lynn." However, what's so weird is she received a message back from Johnny almost immediately. Even though, like, everybody else was, like, emailing him, trying to get a hold of him. They would not answer. Like, he would not answer. And then all of a sudden, she messaged this, and he answers immediately. He says, in quotes, "No need to be worried. I'm on vacation and loving it. The internet is much easier to use than phones due to terrible reception and cost. I just need to get away for a while with someone wonderful. I'll try to get in touch with Dale as soon as possible. But in the meantime, let him know I'm having the time of my life."
I don't think so.
Yeah. Like, no. Strike, you're out. Carrie gave him a phone number that Johnny could get in touch with Dale and told him to call by 6:30 p.m. or they would be contacting Edmonton City Police. However, Johnny never called. And this part makes me so angry. So they called police, but the police weren't concerned. And they accepted Johnny's explanation why he went on vacation with a woman he met online just like that day.
Good police work.
Right? I literally wrote "wow" in my comment, like in my notes here. I'm like, seriously? Wow. Like, his friends are clearly concerned.
Yeah.
And like, this isn't him. And then you're just like, oh, I'm gonna accept it because he went on vacation for 2 months, you know? Like, it's fine. I just don't want to do the work. Like, seriously? What's wrong with you?
What is wrong with you?
Makes me so mad. This next part, though, I love this. Though the police weren't worried or doing anything, his friends knew something was wrong, so they broke into Johnny's apartment.
Oh my god.
To find anything and why and what was going on. When they arrived, one of his motorcycles was uncovered, and it was a Mazda 323 that he also had. And that was missing. Or no, that's his car. I'm sorry. But his Mazda 323, his car, was missing. They broke a window to get inside, where they found dirty dishes in the sink, a paintball gun on his bed. His bed was not made. There was an open CD case on his couch in the lounge room. His motorcycle jacket was hanging on the kitchen chair with his helmet on the table, which all of this wouldn't add up or wasn't like odd or unusual for Johnny because he really would only clean up whenever people were coming over. But it doesn't make sense for someone who would go on vacation for like 2 months.
Yeah.
Why would you leave dirty dishes in the sink for 2 months?
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of like you would get like bugs and stuff.
Yeah.
And like I get like the other stuff would make sense because like I don't know, I probably wouldn't clean up the other stuff, but the dirty dishes is what like really struck me in this. And though those things were odd, what was even more odd was his laptop and printer were both missing. Then in his desk drawer was his passport, which proved he didn't leave the country.
There it is. Would you look at that?
So his friends went back to police with the evidence of what they found, and now the police decided to open a missing persons case for John Altinger, which was on October 17th, 2008, which was now a week after he already went missing. Police started searching. They looked for his car at the airport, and it wasn't found there. They also looked at lists of all departing airports for international flights, and his name wasn't on any of them. For police, the strongest lead was the email from Jen with instructions of how to get to that garage for their date. Bill Clark, who was a detective on the case, learned that Johnny actually forwarded it to 2 friends before going on the date, which was very smart of him, and that included his friend Dale Smith that he talked to beforehand. And Dale said Johnny even stated, quote, "If anything happens to me, you'll know where to look." So, like, even he was, like, a little bit worried about, like, this date. But, like, if you were worried, why'd you go?
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to blame him, like, at all. It's just, like, if you have a gut feeling, always listen to that gut feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And that's also just so heartbreaking, like, in every aspect of everything. And this is, I also put in my notes here, it's not common, at least in 2008, for men to do this and take caution, but it was good that Johnny did do this, because normally it would be women who would take that caution.
Mm-hmm.
That's why Jen said she was taking that caution, even though if you give somebody directions to a place, you could still get their address.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, it doesn't make sense. I don't know. But the police followed directions and the email to see if they could find anything, which was around midnight. It led them to the garage in a residential area of Mill Woods in the southeast area of Mill Woods. When they arrived, the garage was locked with a padlock with a combination code on it. The windows were covered so they couldn't see inside, but one officer was able to see through, like, a small hole in the window and saw that there was a light on in the garage, but it didn't seem like anyone was inside. And from what they could see from that, like, angle, it was clean. The police knocked on the door that was connected to the garage, but no one responded either. A search warrant was declined because there was no evidence that a crime had been committed. Okay. Police still kept searching for anything, and they got a hold of Kirkside Real Estate. They confirmed that the garage was leased to Mark Twitchell. See where this is going.
Mm-hmm.
On October 18th, police got a hold of Mark and told him that there was a problem with the garage, and Mark did open it for police. Mark arrived around 11:30 a.m. in a maroon Pontiac Grand Am. He was irritated when he got there because he was pulled over 2 times to answer Kirkside Real Estate's calls, and he told them someone was using the garage without him knowing. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Definitely. Okay, let's go with that story. He told police the padlock on the door was different than the one he was using and that he didn't know the combination, so police broke the padlock off with his permission. He said he rented the garage for $175 a month and that the house was rented to others and that someone lived in the basement. He also said he didn't have contact with the other people living there. When they entered the garage, a strong burning smell was the first thing that they all noticed. They traced the smell from an oil drum in the one corner of the garage. It had scorch marks and contained charred remains.
Oh.
Yeah. Of course, Mark said he ordered it to use it as a trash can and that it wasn't burned when he last seen the barrel. Oh yeah, it wasn't like that the last time I saw it. Because, somebody else was here. Somebody else killed him and,
Oh my god.
What is wrong with you?
What is wrong with you?
He also stated other items were in the same place as he last saw them. A roll of duct tape was almost all used. All his trash bags were gone, and a bottle of cleaner is almost empty, which he claims he did not use. All of the windows were covered from the inside, and the doors were closed, which made it hard to see in. Mark stated that at the end of September, he filmed a scene for a movie he was making, which was a short thriller film and about a serial killer, the one that was titled House of Cards. And since it took place at night, he had to block the light from the outside so it would be dark inside. Police also noticed red stains that were scattered around the garage. Mark said that was fake blood. So police decided to call their sergeant, and while they all waited for more people to arrive, Mark was talking to Christopher Maxwell, who was constable. He was preparing Mark's written statement, and the conversation was mainly about how Mark was making movies and how he was into Star Wars. He asked if he was willing to come back to the station to answer some more questions, and Mark said yes. So around 3:30 in the morning, Mark Twitchell was interviewed by Mike, a detective, and Mike found Mark helpful, but Mark kept going back to talking about his movie career, of course.
Yeah.
He would say how he was able to get A-list actors and the co-producer and how he was making a comedy and how it was going to submit his thriller House of Cards, or how he was going to submit his thriller House of Cards to festivals and that he was going to pitch it to investors for them to fund the feature-length version of it. Or maybe even a TV show about that, like that plot line or whatever. And then Mark started describing the scenes in the movie with how the production crew made large amounts of fake blood with corn syrup and food dye. Obviously, it is strange that he was filming a movie about a serial killer where a man actually disappeared from, and the detective did point out this to Mark, and Mark replied, in quotes, "I've got this weird tool because it doesn't fit right. So the first thing I started asking myself is who knows about." Wait, what does that say? Okay. He said, in quotes, "I've got this weird tool because it just doesn't fit right. So the first thing I started asking myself is who knows about what we do there and what our schedule looks like," end quote. Which is a very, very weird response to asking, to just him pointing out the coincidence here. And then he replies, "Oh, I just who knows about our schedule?" What are you talking about? It doesn't all of his responses are weird.
They are.
And he followed up with giving a list of people who had worked on the movie and who had access to the garage. The last time Mark Twitchell had been there was Friday, October 10th, the day that Johnny Altinger's last known appearance happened there. So he said, "Oh, the last time I was there was October 10th." And that was the same day Johnny disappeared, but the police are like, "Oh, that's fine." What? What?
What is wrong with you?
Exactly. Mark told police that he had never heard of Johnny Altinger and when they brought him up. Police were thinking this was odd because remember, Johnny told his friend Dale that he met someone working on a film the first time he got to the garage. So police mentioned this to Mark, and Mark said he didn't know anyone named Jen. Police did a background check on Mark Twitchell, but it came back with nothing. All it stated was that he came from a good home and he had no history with violence or anything criminal. There was an old bankruptcy on his record, but that would soon disappear, and that wasn't anything related to any of this, so they just, were like, okay, we didn't find anything on his background check.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, they released Mark and told him to contact police if he found or remembered anything else that would help with the case with finding Johnny.
Yeah.
The next day after Mark was released, he sent a 3-page email to the detective where he said he remembered things that happened and that he thought that was related to the case. So this is what he said. 3 weeks before Johnny went missing, Mark's car was broken into when he was out with a friend. Whoever broke into his car stole sunglasses, loose cash, and receipts. The receipts happened to show his information, like his house address and other things, which receipts don't show, so I don't know if he's just making that up or what. I don't know. So he was worried that they were going to find his house. On October 12th, Mark came home from visiting his in-laws, but nothing was missing or anything. Oh, wait. Okay, I missed a line. Sorry. On October 12th, Mark's I don't even know why I'm calling him Mark's now. Mark came home from visiting his in-laws. His door to his house was unlocked, but nothing was missing or anything. So he thought nothing of it at the time. He just chalked it up to it being for forgetfulness or anxiety or whatever. On October 15th, Mark was pulled over on the side of the road because he answered a phone call, and then he saw a man knocked on his window and asked if he would like to buy. Okay, this story is crazy. He liked to buy his car, which was a Mazda 323, because he was going to be getting a brand new BMW from a lady he hooked up with, and he wanted to get rid of this car before he left for vacation, and said that he would sell it to Mark for whatever money he had on him, which Mark only had $40, and apparently the guy accepted that and sold his car to Mark for $40.
$40?
Right. Oh, yeah, I'll give you my car for $40.
We can go eat Chick-fil-A for $40.
Right. What? So this is completely sus.
Yeah, definitely.
Very suspicious. After buying the car, Mark saw that it had a manual transmission and he didn't know how to drive a manual. So he let his friend take it and hold it for him because, he bought a car for $40 he can't even drive.
Oh my god.
Which, I don't know what he was thinking, but this email Mark sent only made police become more suspicious of him because it just didn't make sense. So they decided to investigate him further. So he probably thought, oh, this will help me, but instead, it made them be like, what? This is ridiculous.
I'm pretty sure this is the first time we've ever seen a car sold for $40 before.
Right? On Monday, October 20th, Mark went to Edmonton Police for another interview, and the person doing the interrogation was police force's main interrogator, Bill Clark, who has been a detective at the time for 30 years. Bill Clark was trying his best to see how Mark's story would hold up and if it would falter at all. So he asked about the man that he bought the Mazda off for $40. And Mark said the guy had a Celtic knot tattoo on his neck. The Mazda was found at his friend's house, like he said, and it was confirmed to be Johnny Altinger's car. Yeah. At this point, Bill Clark decided to change it up a bit. Oh, the kitty just rolled over. Where was I? He narrowed down on Johnny Altinger. Okay, wait, let me see. At this point, Bill Clark decided to change it up, and he narrowed down on Johnny Altinger and asked him, "What do you think happened? Do you think someone has done something to harm him? Do you think he's really missing?" Is like the questions that he was asking. Mark said he didn't know to all the questions, and he also asked, "How do you think?" Bill Clark also asked, "How do you think the results of this investigation will come out for you?" And Mark said, in quotes, "Well, positively, I would think. I've been trying to tell you everything I know." End quote. I think you're lying.
Yeah.
Bill Clark kept asking him questions and eventually hinting that something bad happened to Johnny, like foul play, in which Mark said whoever did it should go to prison and have no mercy. And which is exactly what Christopher Gribble said whenever he freaking murdered mom and that daughter.
Exactly.
Jamie and with those, that's exactly what he said. So that also had like a similarity. After 2 hours of interrogation, Bill Clark started to accuse Mark of being involved, and that detectives interviewed people in the area around Mill Woods who said they saw Mark change the padlock on their garage a week and a half before Johnny went missing. Detective Clark also said that the oil drum that Mark used as a trash can contained remains of Johnny's glasses. However, Mark continued to say he had no involvement and asked if he was free to go. But they didn't have any substantial evidence to keep him, so they had to let Mark go again. Detective Clark told Mark that his car was being held because they had a search warrant. Then he said to Mark, "It's going to eat you. If you're a normal person, it's going to eat at you." Then Mark said, quotes, "You'd be surprised what I can live with," end quote. Yeah, which just shows he obviously did something.
Yeah, literally.
He can admit that, but whatever. After the interrogation is when Twitchell finally got a lawyer. Because he had a choice to get a lawyer before this, but he said, "Oh, I don't need one." But now he's like, "Oh, I need one now." Yeah, it's because you're... hate you. What is wrong with you, Mark?
What is wrong with you?
The day after, police were finally allowed to search his home and vehicle. What they found was, in Mark's Pontiac Grand Am, a half-empty gas can. They found his Toshiba laptop that was covered in Spider-Man stickers that also had bloodstains on it, or at least something that looked like bloodstains. They found more blood-like stains on the carpet in the trunk of the car. They found blood-like stains on an 8-inch hunting knife. They found cryptic instructions that were written on post-it notes, which included "Shift phone while on," "Return address of victim," "Destroy wallet contents," "Kill room clean sweep," Ben's roughly drawn map with one marking a path from Mark's neighborhood to St. Albert to the crossroads near Johnny Altinger's apartment.
Wow.
Yeah. Then in the back seat of Mark's car, they found a book from Jeff Lindsay's Darkly Dreaming Dexter series, which, if you guys don't know, that was the book before the TV series Dexter, where it was about a serial killer, Dexter Morgan, who murdered killers, but also had a life where he was a blood splatter analyst. So that's, if you guys don't know what Dexter is, that's what it is, but I'm pretty sure you know what it is by now because I've talked about it a lot the last few episodes. So police used luminol on the floor of the garage, and it's shown that there was a large pool of blood on the floor, but it was cleaned up. And there were several splatters on the wall. There was also splatter found on an open bottle of ammonia. They also found a long metal table, knives, scissors, saws, and butcher tools, like shears, forks, and a rib-splitting device.
Oh, God.
Yeah. A metal pipe seemed to have blood and tissue on it as well. When police spoke to Mark's friends, they suggested it was a publicity stunt to get his movie promoted.
Oh, yeah, totally.
They described him as someone who would do anything to get noticed. Yeah, because that's what you want your friends to say about you. Wow. However, some received an email from Mark where he discouraged them from speaking with police. Yeah. Don't be suspicious.
Don't be suspicious.
At this point, police felt like he did it, so they had an undercover surveillance team watching him 24/7, and they monitored all his calls from his cell phone. But Mark's behavior seemed normal. They didn't have a motive, and Mark seemed to be a normal guy who was a father and had a wife. He didn't have a history or connection to Johnny. So police searched criminal records around the area to try to get anything that could be connected to the case. Ended up they found something that could be connected, which was on October 3rd, 2008. A couple saw a man in a hockey mask bother another man, and police thought it was Johnny, but it was a week before his date with Jen. The police then examined the laptop found in Mark's car. Experts found a deleted text file called, quotes, SK Confessions. Which, this is crazy. It was a 45-page document, and it seemed like a personal diary and even had a disclaimer that said, quotes, this story is based on a true events. The names and events were altered slightly to protect the guilty. This is the story of my progression into becoming a serial killer. End quote.
Nice.
Yeah.
Real nice. What is wrong with you?
What is wrong with you? And I'm seeing now that we're at 51 minutes, so I'm just going to say here, I think this is going to be the end of part 1. And then we'll just jump into part 2. So I'm just going to quickly... Oh, if you want to go to our social medias to see pictures and stuff, go to Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Dreadfully Twisted Podcast. If you want to share with your family and friends, you can listen on Amazon Music, Spotify, Pandora Radio, iHeartRadio, Listen Notes, YouTube, Apple Podcasts now, Samsung Podcasts, Podcast Index, and everywhere else you can listen, pretty much.
Yeah.
My brain's turning into mush at this point.
Anywhere you get your podcasts, we are.
Yeah, and if you can like them, download them, share them, rate them, comment on our Spotify, like what you thought about the episode, that'd be great. It gives us some feedback, and it helps us stay relevant in the charts. Please share with your family and friends, and...
be a good person.
Don't be like Mark Twitchell.
Yeah, or like any of these terrible people that we cover.
Yep.
So yeah.
And spread positivity.
Be a good person.
Be there for your friends. Be a good person.
Yes.
Just can't stress that enough. And we will see you guys next week.
We love you.
Love you. Bye.